everybody. Welcome to another week. It is the Mike Missanelli Show. Weekend without Eagle football, but plenty of other football, and also a fight, so to speak, that Netflix is getting clobbered for their production of. So we'll talk about a lot of things today, including the Philadelphia 76ers. Because I got a really serious question to ask people. This is really serious now. I am deadly serious about this question that I will get to in a second. But let's talk some football issues first, because everybody this weekend is just glowing, and I'm talking about the national football people and the national writers and everybody who covers the NFL, that the Detroit Lions are the best team in football. Not in the conference, in football, as they ring up another 52-piece on Sunday. And I just got to take the pulse of our people here. Bill Colarulo is here with me. Ray Dunn is back. Bill, I got to first start with you as a notorious Detroit Lions hater. This must be really getting under your skin. The praise that is just flowing, overflowing for the Detroit Lions, the best team in football, they are saying, which kind of like puts the Eagles at a very lower rung here. So, Bill, your thoughts?
Well, for the first time in the Detroit Lions' history of their franchise, they are favorites to win the Super Bowl, according to all the odds makers. And look, you're right. I have hated on the Lions, but they are the class of the NFC right now. They're 9-1. They're dominating teams. I think they're running up the score a little bit. I think they're running up the score a lot. I mean, you look at that game against the Jaguars.
Oh, my God. Hold it. This is the team that you gave no respect to. You hate the head coach, and now you're on the other side of it saying that they're rubbing it in?
They are running up the score. Dude, it was a 35-6 game late in the third quarter, and they're going for it on fourth down.
You're kidding me with this, right?
They're running up the score.
Are you actually kidding me with this?
They're the three biggest.
This is your
the three biggest blowouts in the NFL. All belong to the Detroit Lions.
God.
They beat the Jags by 46, the Titans by 38, the Cowboys by 38. They are rubbing it in, and they are running up the score.
It's not that they're a good team. It's that they're now punishing people because they're so good? That this is your beef, or are you saying that they're not good, and that's why they're running up the score? I'm trying to figure out where you're going with this.
They are a good football team.
Are they a good football team?
Are they unbeatable? No.
The league's best point differential, plus 159, which means they're outscoring their opponents by an average of 16 points a game.
Well, it helps when you beat the Jags by 46.
Okay, but you got to be able to beat the Jags by 56 or 46.
And they beat the Titans by 38 and the Cowboys by 38. Look, they're a good team, but I'm not going to say that they're not beatable. The Eagles could certainly beat them. I think that they match up fairly well against each other. Now the debate comes down to Sirianni or Campbell, Goff or Hurts. But I think overall it would be a very good matchup.
I'm just looking at the data here with Dan Graziano, senior NFL national report. Very well-respected guy. Going off on the Detroit Lions. Let me read this little head. The Lions are going to win the Super Bowl. The level of domination the Lions are inflicting right now is hard to put in perspective. Franchise records all over the place. Touchdowns on each of their first 7 possessions on Sunday. They're only the third team in the past 45 years to do that. The others being the vaunted Patriots of 2009 and 2007. Listen, I know the Eagles have a fighting chance. I am just saying that right now, it's funny. Last week, there are a lot of people who were talking about the Eagles being the Super Bowl contender. And now all of a sudden, one Sunday goes by, and the Eagles become an afterthought.
I don't know if they're an afterthought, but look,
the Lions are going to win the Super Bowl. You see this, Ray? See this little headline? Everyone see what it says? I'm showing it to the people. The Lions are going to win the Super Bowl. The Eagles aren't an afterthought.
But isn't that the headline? Isn't that whole article by Graziano overreactions? Isn't that what they call
overreaction or not?
Overreaction,
and then he assesses whether or not it's an overreaction. And if you continue reading, you can see.
Not an overreaction.
It's not an overreaction to him.
Verdict, not an overreaction.
Listen, I can understand why the Lions would be the favorite in the NFC. because they're 9-1. They got the best record in the NFC. They have dominated teams. All I'm saying is Eagles fans shouldn't be afraid of the Detroit Lions. There's no reason why the Eagles couldn't win that game. It would be a great game. I think it would be a toss-up of a game. But to sit here and act as if the Lions are head and shoulders above the Eagles, I'm just not buying it. I am not buying it. And I know there are some who are comparing the quarterbacks, Jared Goff to Jalen Hurts. And I think Goff, I've said it for a couple of years, I think he's underrated. I think he's a good quarterback. But I don't think he's head and shoulders above Jalen Hurts either. There's a lot of similarities when you look at these teams. And let's look at the head coaches. Because Sirianni gets criticized for being too aggressive at times. And you know how I feel about Dan Campbell. His aggressiveness borders on recklessness very often. They were 3 of 3 on fourth down in the game against the Jags. They go for it a lot. But to me, it was running up the score, going for it on fourth down in a 35-6 game late in the third quarter when you have a 4th and 2 from the Jags 14. You're running it up.
I can't. This is ridiculous. But you're running it up. Now, normally, you have that conversation when it's college kids.
Dude,
right?
they still have the starters in at 42-6.
You don't want to humiliate college kids. Now you're worried about a pro team running it up?
Mike,
come on.
42-6. They still have their starters in the game in the fourth quarter. Come on, man.
Oh, so what?
They're running it up.
It's pro football. The other guys are pros, aren't they? They're playing it. What do you think they're playing? Like a Division III team? They're playing other professionals.
Let me ask you a question.
What?
If the Eagles were up 42-6 in a game, they still had their starters in, and God forbid one of them got an injury, we would be killing our coaching staff.
That's a different conversation. Now you turn it into an injury. First of all, you're saying they're running it up and they're being selfish, and then you go into the injury thing. That's their problem that they're risking their guys with being injured. That was not your point. Well, your point was they're squeezing it with their heel.
It goes to the point of why I am not a huge fan of Dan Campbell. Because he's reckless, Mike. He's reckless, and he's also reckless with his players.
You are running yourself around in such circles right now. It's ridiculous.
I'm telling you the truth.
Oh,
Look,
my God, stop it.
Penny Sewell, the great left tackle, he's still playing late into the fourth quarter.
Penny this. Let's move on to another conversation here. I am really not happy about the state of the 76ers. I'm just not. I like the Sixers a lot. I really had some optimism about coming into this season. The word is today, now, it says Embiid's questionable. I read another tweet from somebody who covers the league saying he was out. I don't know what the situation is. But here, if he is out because he's sick, first of all, he gets sick a lot. He does. This guy's immune system must be terrible, right? Because he's missed a lot of these games with illness or complaining of illness. It's really unbelievable when you think about it. If you line them all up, the illnesses, right?
He had Bell's palsy last year.
No. I'm not talking about Bell's palsy or knee injury. I'm talking about sick, like flu or
just like colds and stuff.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. He apparently gets that a lot. But here's the question, and I think it's a fair question to ask. Does he seem like he's even interested anymore?
In the regular season, probably not.
In the whole thing. Is he invested in the whole thing about trying to win a championship with this team and this franchise? Or is it now he's been hurt so many times that he's kind of lost his zeal to do this? I think it's a fair question. And maybe a lot of people think, I think he's invested. I think he's invested. I don't know. I don't get any sense that he really wants to play right now. Now, maybe that's part of I don't want to play right now because I want to preserve myself, whatever it is. But are you getting the impression that he really wants to play right now? Play basketball, compete at a high level, lead this team out of the doldrums? Are you getting that impression? And this is the fair question. I want to ask 76er fans. I saw some comments on social media to that ilk, but I want to, I'm looking at it like, what is going on here? What? There is no investment in this season right now. And I don't like it. It makes me feel terrible about it.
I understand everything that you're saying here, because we've been talking about this for a couple of weeks about the tone that was set when the season started. And I agree with you that it doesn't appear Embiid is interested in playing and winning in the regular season. I'm not going as far as you're going where, because I think you're basically asking the question, does Embiid even care about winning in general, right? Even down the stretch.
Has this thing run its course is the bigger question, where it's never going to put all the factors together. The way they started the season, the way he perceives basketball right now, I don't know what to feel, which is why I want to engage Sixer fans today on how they feel. Because I got a feeling they feel exactly like me.
But I just have a hard time buying that. What would have been the point then of Joel recruiting Paul George and trying to get him to come here if Joel's not interested in winning?
I just asked you this question. Does he look like he's that interested in playing right now?
Right now, no.
Okay.
And he doesn't look like he's in shape.
And then we got to discuss the reasons for why that is. And there are several different layers to that. So we'll try to get into it today because I want to take the pulse of Philadelphia 76er fans. Could this era just be over? Like even if he plays, what is this? What are the Sixers right now? 610-632-0975. That's how you get into the Mike Missanelli Show. It's a Football Monday. No Eagles to talk about, but plenty of other things. We're back after this.
Now